Hello folks, and welcome back to SLE Equipment here in Nashville, Tennessee. Today we're doing the instructional video for this 8.5 by 18 green with silver trim custom concession trailer. First thing we're going to talk about is the power source. So whether your power source is your generator or shore power, please make sure you have the power source turned off before plugging your power cord into the trailer. Alright, once you've ensured your power source is turned off, you're simply going to come right over here. This is going to go in at this angle here. You're going to plug it in, twist it, locks it in place. If your power cord has the collar on here, you're going to tighten that down. If not, don't worry, it's designed to stay in place without the collar. So, all right, once you've done that, then you're going to go to the other end of your cord, plug it in to either your shore power or your generator. Now, this unit here, customer sent in the Westinghouse iGen 11000 is a tri-fuel unit. So we're going to demonstrate it running off of propane today, because that's going to, I believe, is going to be the main source of power or fuel here. So here's the plug-in for that. You're going to make sure that this handle here is in line. That tells you that valve is open. We'll go over that more when we go over the gas stuff. And have your hose plugged in. This is a quick detach, quick coupling here, so you can flip this out of the way and then pull that back, and that will allow you to detach it. I'm not going to do that right now because the propane is on. However, all right, so there's the generator. So once you have your power cord plugged in, for today's purposes we're running off of the shore power here. But when you're plugging into the generator, you're going to come right here to this bigger plug. This is your 50 amp connection here. All right. This is where you're going to plug in at with your power cord. Once you've got your power cord plugged in, you're ready to turn this thing on. Come here. Turn on the power. You're going to make sure that this notch is lined up with propane, so that you're running off of propane here. This is your fuel off, natural gas, propane, and gasoline here. So we're running off propane right now. And then make sure that your breakers are turned off to the off position. You can see where it says off on those right there. Once you've done that, simply gonna push and hold the button for a second. So at this point, you're plugged in here before you started it. You get your generator started up. Once your generator is started up and running, now you would come right here to the 50 amp AC 50. You come right here and switch this on. Okay. Sorry, I hit the off button in my pocket here. So this thing does have a remote on off as well. So there you go. So we know it runs. We'll turn it back off. All right, and that generator slides into the generator box here. You'd simply just push it back in. You see it sliding in there. All right. I'm gonna leave it out for the time being, just so we can move on with the video. All right. So next up, we have the city water fill box right here. So just open that. If you're gonna fill your freshwater tank, you're gonna come right here, twist this cap off, insert your hose, fill the 30-gallon freshwater tank. Once it's full, remove your hose, replace your cap. Pretty simple. If you have access to a pressurized system or a city water spigot, then you can come right here, connect a hose to the spigot, and then connect the other end of your hose right there. This is a common water hose fitting. It does have a filter screen to filter out any trash that may be in there. And if you're connected here, then that's going to bypass the freshwater tank, supply water, and the water pump, supply water directly to the water heater and the faucets. Okay, so I will put this key around the faucet inside the unit there. All right, next up we have the waste tank drain. So you can use a common water hose fitting here, or a 3-inch hose here. You can get a 3-inch hose at any RV camper supply center and online as well. So take off whichever cap you're going to be using, need to come off for the, depending on the size hose you're using. Connect your hose, and then once you connect your hose, pull this handle out to the left there. Let the contents drain. Once the contents have drained, you're going to push that handle back in, remove your cap, or remove your hose, and then replace your cap there. All right. Up top here, we have an LED light right on the side. Then down here, we have the two 5,200 pound axles on the driver's side. So one thing I want to show you right quick, each wheel has this little rubber cap in the center of the hub. And you can pull this off. Once every 10,000 miles or 12 months, whichever comes first, you'll need to remove that rubber cap on each wheel. And behind there will be a grease fitting. Simply take a grease gun, connect to that fitting, and grease that properly. It helps keep the hubs and bearings in proper working order. All right. Moving on around to the back of the unit here. You can see the two 100-pound propane tanks inside cages there. 36 wide, 78-inch tall RV style entry door with glass, and it does have a screen door on the inside of it. And we'll talk more about the propane and the tanks here in just a few minutes. And when we go inside, I'll show you the screen door there. And then on the side here, once you look down the side, so same thing on these two wheels. Here you have the rubber center cap in there. Again, you'll grease that every 10,000 miles or 12 months, whichever comes first. And then here we have the 3-foot tall, 5-foot wide concession window with glass and screens, LED lights on either side and above, and then flip up counter. There's the flip up counter right there. And then on these windows, you have two pieces of glass, one on the outside, one on the inside, and then a screen right here. You can see the handle for the screen right there. Same thing over here. Just want to point that out. And then on this flip up, to lower it down, you'll simply come here, depress one latch. Well, I have to depress this one first. Depress that latch, depress that latch, and then lower down. So as you can see, you can do that with one hand. Pretty simple operation. All right, next up we have the propane on-demand water heater. Open this up. So right here is the on-off switch. The circle is down, pushed in, then that's off. The line is pushed in right now, that's on. Your fuse is in here. Drain is right here. So you just pull this out, get it in line. That opens up the valve there to drain it. You'll need to do that if you're trying to, when you go into the colder months, temperature's gonna get down below freezing, drain that out, the water out of that. All right. Next up here on this side, we have the 36 by 36 access door in the V-nose. We'll open it up and look inside here. You can see the 30-gallon freshwater tank here. Water pump sitting on top. Mop sink here. There's the power cord for the unit. Back side of that propane on-demand water heater. with the cold water supply going in, and then the cold water outlet or hot water outlet line here. Gas valve down here. Again, you can see that knob is in line with the valve in the gas line. That means it is open. And then right over here in the floor, you have the drain for the unit. That's what that handle right there. If you turn that valve, that handle in line with the hose, then or that drain line, then that opens that valve up and allows the contents of a freshwater tank to drain out through the bottom of the unit. Back over in the corner is the 12-volt battery that powers the interior and exterior LEDs and the water pump. And then right here, this piece right there, that is the backflow preventer on the unit. And you can see it has a drain that drains down there, so it doesn't allow water past that point. If water come back to that point, it would drain out through the bottom of the floor. All right, and then this hose is the hose that came with the generator. We weren't able to use that, but we did leave it for the customer there. All right, set of keys here to the door. All right, let's talk about this gas. So before we turn on any gas inside the unit, we want to make sure our concession window is open, and that both windows, glass windows on the bottom, are in the up position. Only the screen should be shut there to allow proper airflow. And then we're going to come back here. We're going to go inside the unit here. So here you can see the screen door in place. So if you wanted to prop this entry door open, just leave that left open, you could. This piece here shuts on the screen door, so that it keeps all any bugs out, flies, things of that sort. And you just pull this back, that unlatches the screen door and allows you to open it. Alright. We have our concession window open, glass in the upright position. We're going to come right over here. We're going to flip on both of these light switches like you see there. That's going to turn on our hood. You see the 3 LED lights on the hood, so those 3 lights come on and off with the hood. So if the hood's on, those lights are on. I'm not sure if you can hear the hood running on the video, but it is a little louder in here with it running. Alright. Once we've ensured that our concession window is open and our grease hood is on, and the grease hood does have a delay on it. So when you first turn it on, the fans don't kick on immediately. It's about a 15 to 20 second delay before the fans actually engage and start up. That's how the manufacturer has it set. So all right, once we've done that, we're going to come out here to our propane tanks. And one thing I want to tell you about these tanks right quick is both of these tanks are 100-pound propane tanks. They do come empty, so you will need to have them filled by a licensed certified professional. 100-pound propane tank holds approximately 23 gallons of propane. So it's important to use somebody that knows what they're doing. If they were to overfill it, they could potentially damage your regulator by overfilling the tank or your valve on your tank. So you want to make sure that you use a licensed professional to fill these with. All right, now we're ready to turn on our gas. You're going to come here, turn this knob, and you're going to turn that all the way, open that all the way up. All right, once you've done that, right here on your regulator, you see where it says vent. You're going to just listen right there and make sure you don't hear gas hissing out of there or smell an abnormal amount of gas. If you have either of those, close your valve all the way. Contact your local gas company, have them come out and service the unit. There's a good chance that you have a damaged regulator. It's gone bad, so you'll need to get that serviced before continuing to operate. All right. If, however, the regulator checks out, you don't hear any hissing gas, you don't smell an abnormal amount of gas, now you're ready to go on to the next step, which is simply come here. You can see this is not in line, so that valve is closed, you're going to turn that to the open position. All right, when you do, you're going to hear a whoosh of gas initially right through here. That's all you should hear. If you hear gas continually running through this line, shut this back off, go back inside your unit. So one thing I forgot to mention while in the unit, make sure your concession window is open, turn on your fan, and then check the knobs on all of your appliances, make sure they're all in the off position. All right, then come out and turn your gas on. When you turn this on, if you hear gas continually running through here, shut this back off, go back in the unit, check all your knobs. There's a good chance you bumped into one accidentally, or you got distracted while you were doing it, forgot to check one, or bumped into one because you did 5 other things, then come back out here to try this again. All right, life happens, I completely get it. But once you've checked all your knobs, double check your knobs, make sure they're all turned off, turn this back on. When you open this back up, if you still hear gas running through here, shut this back off, shut that off, contact your local gas company, have them come out and service the unit. One concern, so the problem here would be that you have gas, if you're hearing gas running through here without having anything lit, you have gas running or freely flowing somewhere that it should not be at a high enough rate that it's a concern. Okay, so you're going to shut this off, you're going to contact your local gas company, have them come out and service it. One concern is these gas lines run underneath the trailer. We have to do that for codes reasons, but because of that, it does make it susceptible during transit for road debris such as rocks, pieces of metal, chunks of wood, whatever, to kick up off the road, hit that gas line and rupture it. Okay, so if you hear gas continually running through there, you know all your knobs are in the off position, you've double checked that, then have a gas company come out and service the unit. All right, you open this though, everything checks out with it, you're ready to go inside. We are running off of our supplied propane tank here, since again these tanks come empty. But at this point, now that everything's checked out, you're ready to go inside and light your equipment. Okay, all right, first thing you're going to need is a barbecue stick lighter, like what you see here. I particularly like this one because the neck on it here is longer than the standard barbecue stick lighter, so it makes it easier to reach inside some of these appliances. The appliances on this trailer, the griddle especially, is a good example of why you need one of these. I'll show you that here in a few minutes. All right. First up, we have the CPG 40-pound open pot fryer. You're going to come here, open your door. You're going to come right down here. Now, I've already got all this on, but, oh, sorry, this is up top. So you can see the on position is lined up with the red indicator there. You're going to be working from the off position, which is here, but you're going to turn this to where the L on pilot lines up with that red indicator button. All right. Once you get to that point, you're going to push in and hold for about 20 to 30 seconds while continuing to hold that button. After 20 to 30 seconds, you're going to take your barbecue stick lighter. You can just push that up to the side. Oh, there it goes. Reach right in here, and you're going to light that pilot light. Okay, and you can see the pilot light burning there. Once you've got the pilot light lit, hold the pilot button in for about another 30 seconds, and then after 30 seconds, slowly release this pilot button. If once you've completely released that pilot button, you see that the pilot light is still on and burning, then at that point, you're good to move on. You're just going to turn it to the on position, and you're ready to go. If it doesn't stay lit when you release that pilot light button, then just repeat the steps of pushing in the button and holding it, and then lighting the light, pilot light, and then continuing to hold the button until it stays lit, okay? This one lit up really easily, so I think you're gonna be good. All right, let's see if I can demonstrate this working here. There you go. You can see it working in there. That piece of equipment works. All right, so the next one is a Vanco 40-pound deep fryer. This piece of equipment, unfortunately, I've not been able to get to light. My guess is it's got a bad thermocoupler on it, so the customer supplied all the equipment, so they're going to have to submit it for warranty. But normally this is a very easy piece of equipment to light, so we'll move on now. All right, next up we have the CPG 6-burner 24-inch griddle 2-door combo oven. To light the ovens, you're going to come down here, you're going to lift this bottom panel and then tilt it out. Alright. And then for the oven door or the oven on the right, you're going to come to this knob right here. You can see it's got the little light on it right there. That's the pilot light indicator. So you're going to turn that, kind of push and turn that to where it's lined up with this little notch right there. You're going to push that in and hold it for about 20 seconds. And then you're going to take your barbecue stick lighter and you're going to reach right in this hole here and you're going to light your pilot light, okay? And you can see the blue flame there on the pilot light. Once you've lit that pilot light, continue to hold that knob in for about 20 seconds. Slowly release off of it. So long as your pilot light stays lit, you're good to go. Alright? And then I'll demonstrate this one here. Sorry about that, I accidentally shut the video off. We'll turn this, demonstrate this. There you go, you can see that oven working. And then to turn it off, just turn it back to the pilot there and then turn it a little further. That leaves it, the pilot on, but don't push in and turn it further, because if you do, you can turn it off. But you're just going to turn it from that position back until it stops. And that leaves that pilot light on, okay? And then this side, you're gonna do the exact same thing, except you're gonna use this knob. It's the third knob from the left. You're gonna set it to the pilot position there, push and hold, light your pilot light, all right? And then I'll demonstrate this one. There you go. Close these up. Alright. Now for the burners. These are the easiest to light. Simply take your barbecue stick lighter, stick it right down there, and you can see the pilot light. And you're going to do that on each individual one. Oh, that one flew out. There we go. And you're going to light each individual pilot light there. And then I'll demonstrate these working. There's that one. There's that one. I may need to turn this one up a little bit. There on. That one. Run on down. Alright. And that's all that's how you operate the burners there. Alright. Next up we have the 24-inch griddle. So to light these, you're going to come right next to the knob. You can see the pilot light in there. This is where the long barbecue stick lighter comes in handy, because you got to really get it in there. Light it. Pull it out. And you can see that one going. And then I'll demonstrate this one. There we go. See it over here on the right side, that little hole there on the right. You see it a little better. And there, it's back off. And then you're going to light this one over here the exact same way. You look right in the center of the screen there, you can see the flame in there. That one's working properly as well. Alright. Next up, we have the 24-inch CPG char broiler. It's sitting on top of a 24 by 30-inch equipment stand. I have the briquettes at the bottom here. I'll let the customer put those in. But to light this one, simply come right here where it says pilot. And it's going to reach your barbecue stick lighter in there. Same thing. Reach it in there good. Trying to see it up top here. Light that flame. And get both of them like that. And then I'll demonstrate this working. There's the left side. There's the right side. Alright. So that's how you light all your equipment. Alright, let's talk about the grease hood here. So, each piece of equipment is underneath the hood. This is a 11-foot long, 42-inch deep grease hood. You can see all the filters in place all the way down. So with the filters, at bare minimum, once a week, you're going to want to pull the filters out, clean them good. You're going to do so by just lifting it up, bringing the bottom out, and then dropping it down so that it unslots out of the top. Clean it with soap and warm to hot water. And then once you've cleaned them all and you go to put them back in, you're going to slot it in at the top first, push the bottom in, get it past the rail here, and then drop it down in there like you see now. Okay? And then you want to make sure that your crack in between your filters is good and tight as you can possibly get it. That way it keeps any large amounts of grease from getting in behind the filters, building up inside the hood, and potentially causing a hood fire. And it also keeps any forms of debris, cardboard, paper, anything like that from getting sucked up into the hood and potentially damaging the fan, or one of the two fans on the unit. Alright. You can see the fire suppression nozzle here for the griddle. This one, this one's for the char broiler. This one here is for the griddle, and then this one for the right two burners, this one for the center two burners, and this one is for the left two burners. And then each fryer has each fryer has a nozzle over it for fire suppression as well. Alright. Coming on down, let's talk about the fire suppression system here. So you can see how the fire suppression system is ran to the hood. This does have the links inside the hood behind the filters so that it can discharge automatically if need be. The fire suppressant is stored inside the tank here, mounted on the wall. And then here's the control head. If for some reason you needed to discharge this system manually, you would do that right here as well. So you simply come here, grab the pin, much like a fire extinguisher, give a good firm pull, breaking this seal. And then once you've pulled that pin, you're going to flip the handle up to the left here, and that's going to discharge that system. All right. If the system discharges, whether you do it manually or it does it automatically, as it's designed to do, at that point you're going to want to exit the unit and go ahead and shut the gas off outside the unit there if you can. If you can't, no worries. Once that system discharges, the gas valve here on the floor automatically shuts off the gas at that point. It does not allow gas to travel any further into the trailer, so the gas first enters through the gas valve here and then continues on to the appliances. So none of the appliances would have gas. That gas valve is designed to remove that fuel source for fire once the system is discharged. Okay, let's go on around, take a look at the rest of the unit here. We'll start right here. Here we have a 30 by 36 stainless steel worktop table, galvanized undershelf. Above that, there's a 24 by 30 inch shelf on the wall here. Hand wash station there, 3-bay sink with drain boards, shelf here, electric panel, and then this box right here is the charger for the 12-volt system. So there's a little green light on the bottom there. You can see, as long as that light's on, that tells you anytime the unit is plugged into power, that green light should be on, letting you know that it's charging the 12-volt battery. And then this box right here is the fuse box for the 12-volt system. So if you have any lights, interior or exterior, or your water pump is not working, that would be the first place I'd look. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a light next to each fuse. So if that light is on, or if there's a light on in there, then that's telling you which fuse has gone bad and blown. So it's a very quick indicator. You can look right there and go, oh, hey, it's this fuse here, pull that fuse out, replace it, and you're good. And those are all 20 amp fuses. There is one extra up in the top up there. So you do have one extra fuse. You can plug in a couple extras into that if you wanted, just in case. All right, here we have the control head for the on-demand propane water tank or water heater. We'll get to that here in just a minute. Coming on around underneath our concession window, we have an 18 by 60 stainless steel worktop table with galvanized undershelf. Coming next to that, we have a 30 by 48 stainless steel worktop table. Right above that, we have a 24 by 48 overhead shelf. And then we have an Avento double door refrigerator. Show you that it's working. It's at 34.5 degrees. Nice and warm right there. Show you the inside here. Here's some shelving, more shelving down in the bottom, and then inside this owner's manual here, there's a set of keys. That set of keys goes to these two locks here, so that you can lock these doors during transit. All right. And then next to that, we have the double door Avento freezer. I'll show you it is at negative 0.4 degrees. That is really warm. Here's the shelving in the bottom of it. Same thing inside the owner's manual here. There's a set of keys there as well for those locks there so that you can lock it during transit. The unit is finished throughout with rubber coin flooring, aluminum mill walls and ceiling. Has the Furion roof mount AC unit. This thing does very well. So your vent is here. This is a filter right here. Select cool, fan, cool, and then there's an optional heat. I'm not sure if this one has the optional heat or not, heat strip. If not, you can purchase one relatively cheap. It's a pretty simple installation on that. And then we have 1, 2, 3 overhead LED lights throughout the unit as well. And then back here on the back wall next to the door, we have the 2 light switches. So this first one is for the interior lights, the second one is for the exterior lights. So the one on the driver's side, outside, and then the 2 next to the concession window over here. All right, real quick, let's talk about this thing here. So as part of the fire suppression system here at SLE, we provide, sorry, that's about to fly off. It's the instruction manual, and that's the backup battery that goes in this. But as part of the fire suppression system here at SLE, we provide the kitty carbon monoxide alarm and explosive gas alarm. So here in a minute you'll see this thing go to 0. That's just telling you it's not detecting any carbon monoxide or explosive gas. There are some codes that it will display. You'll hear a rather obnoxious beep when it does. You can locate all of those codes inside the owner's manual here, so I would keep this handy just in case one of those codes pop up. And I'd go ahead and familiarize yourself with the operation of the unit as well. But when a code does pop up, like I said, it will beep at you, and it will continue to beep at you until you fix it. So if it's, so there's a beep, that's LD that's flashing there. So LD just indicates low battery. That's because the battery again is right there. However, as it, and I'm going to remove that because it will continue to beep. If it beeps like that, you'll need to look at it. If it's showing that the carbon monoxide level has gotten high, or that there's an explosive level of gas inside the trailer, then at that point you need to immediately exit the trailer, leave the window open, leave the exhaust fan on, exit the trailer, shut the gas off, and just let it sit for about 10 minutes and air out. Okay? Alright. The other thing I want to point out, these 2 boxes here, these are fire extinguishers. So this one is an ABC fire extinguisher, just a good all-around general purpose fire extinguisher. The one inside this box, the bigger one here, is a Class K fire extinguisher. Class K extinguisher is required in every commercial kitchen in all 50 states. So we provide that as part of the gas or the fire suppression system here as well. All right, let's talk about the water here. So over here on the control panel, you can see the on button, power button right here, Celsius and Fahrenheit settings there. Set temp. So right now it's at 115. We're going to turn this up. I'm going to set it at 124 just because I do like to demonstrate 120. Depending on the codes in your area, some areas require 115. Some areas require that you demonstrate 120. So we'll show that real quick. And we'll take a thermometer and get a reading here just to verify it. Oh, so when you first turn the water on, you see that little flame there? That tells you that the water heater is working, and it shows you the temperature that the water is currently at as it's coming out. So now we'll stick the thermometer under here, get a reading on it. 120. That way you're confident when you have your health code inspection that you're going to hit that mark. And then I'll demonstrate cold water side. And you can hear the water pump turning on and off. There's the switch for the water pump right there. I have it left in the on position. And again, hot water, cold water, just demonstrating everything working as it should. All right. Now moving on. Let's go around and check the plugs. Demonstrate all of the plugs working inside the unit. 2 lights on this means it's working. There we go. So the freezer is plugged up to its own plug, same with the refrigerator, and I'm seeing that both of those are working. That one's working. That one works. Plug down here. Lights. 2 lights on that one. 2 lights on that one. Sorry for the camera work here. And then 2 lights on that one. Alright, sorry about that. Hit this. Accidentally hit the wrong button again, and then we are good. So that's all of our outlets, so we know all the outlets work now. Alright. So, I'll draw your attention here to the sticker on the back wall. So this is going to go over safety guidelines, just general procedures and safety and maintenance. First, startup procedures, shutdown procedures, and then before transit. Startup procedures mostly, and shutdown procedures is mostly going over gas. And then before transit, things like check your lug nuts, tire pressure on all wheels and tires. Make sure your blinkers, brake lights, running lights are all functioning properly. Make sure any waste hoses or water hoses, power cords, anything of that sort is disconnected and stowed away properly. Turn off the water pump switch. Make sure your lights are off, and then make sure you shut and latch all your doors, lock them, would be a good idea. Alright, so let's go over the shutdown procedures for the gas. So shutdown for the gas is going to be essentially the same thing as what we did to start up, just in reverse order. And we're turning things off, not lighting. So we're going to come down through here, we're going to check and make sure all of our knobs are in the off position. Now I do want to tell you, the char roller, the griddle, the burners up top are all what we call free-flowing pilot lights. So those pilot lights will stay lit so long as gas is flowing to the unit once they've been lit. Okay. The oven, as you check your knobs and you're making sure that everything's in the off position, you're going to push in your oven knob here and then turn it. Now it's in the off position. And that pilot light is still on. So I stand corrected. They're all free-flowing pilot lights on here. So we're just checking our knobs. Now, on the two fryers, these are manual. So your knob, your button down here, and this fryer works the exact same as the other fryer. But you're going to come down here and just make sure that that button is in the off position. As you see there. And the same thing on this one, you're going to turn it from the on position to the pilot, push in and turn it to the off position. And then you can see that the pilot light is no longer on. Alright. Once you've done that, you've verified all your knobs are in the off position. Then you're going to exit the back of the trailer. Here come. Just go ahead and shut off your valve there. Again, not in line, so it's closed now. So you're just going to close that up and then come to your tank. We opened this all the way, so we're going to close this all the way. Alright, there you go. At that point now all your gas is off. It may take a minute or two for the gas to burn off of the lines there. We'll go back inside the trailer here. I do want to say while we're waiting on gas to burn off, if at any point in time you're inside the trailer and you smell an abnormal amount of gas inside the trailer, whether the carbon monoxide alarm is going off or not, if you're smelling an abnormal amount, go ahead and exit the trailer, shut the gas off, let it air out before coming back in, at least 5 to 10 minutes. Leave your hood on, window open, that way it can air out good. You should not, you may smell a little bit of propane, but you should not smell an abnormal amount. You'll know it, you smell it, it's just, you walk through here and you're just like, wow, that propane is getting strong. That's an abnormal amount, right? Just working around it, you'll smell a slight bit, but you should not smell it more than just a little bit. Alright, let's check all of our pilot lights. Make sure they're all off. We know the pilot light on fryers are off. That one is good. That one is good. Both of our char rollers and check the griddles. Alright, all of our pilot lights are off, so we're good there. At this point, once you've verified, you've turned off the gas and you've verified all your pilot lights are off, now at this point, if you desire, you can come over here and shut down the grease hood. Again, those lights go off with it. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about this grease hood. So, inside here, there are 2 grease cups and then a box. Inside that box is 2 brackets and 4 nuts. So, you'll slot that bracket over top of these 2 posts here. 1 bracket over top of both the 2 posts. Take 2 of your nuts, put them on here and tighten them down. They're just little acorn nuts. They can hand tight, it's perfectly fine. Tighten those down and then hang your grease cup on that. The grease will drip out from here and then down here on this end as well. So you're going to put a bracket on those 2 posts along with the acorn nuts to secure the bracket there, and then hang the grease cup on that. And that's where your grease drips out from, and it's caught by those cups. Those cups you'll need to monitor throughout the day, multiple times a day, just to see if they need to be emptied out or not, okay? All right. From here, we've gone over everything. So, at this point, I'm gonna say thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you got some good information out of this. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call here at SLE. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. If you're watching this video online and you're interested in this trailer or one like it, this trailer unfortunately will not be for sale because it is already sold. To the purchasers of this trailer, thank you for your business. If you're watching online and you're interested in a trailer like this one, maybe exact same setup or a few differences, things that would be better suited for you on this trailer or any other trailer you see on our website, please give us a call here at SLE. We'd be glad to help you out with that and help you design the trailer of your dreams. And again, to the customer who's purchasing this trailer, we thank you very much and we appreciate your business as we do everyone's business. That's going to do it. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, please. Thank you and have a great day.